From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, what a show Northern California and pretty much all of the United States got to see last night, and that was the Aurora. It really just exploded last night. Now, I just want to show you some local pictures sent to us by Melissa in Derryville. We did see mostly cloudy skies last night, but there were a few of us that got to see some clearing, and even sometimes even filtered through the clouds, you got to see some of those beautiful colors. Take a look at this. This is out in Castle from Brian. You can see a lot of the cloud cover out there, but kind of filtering through the clouds, it was kind of shining through the clouds. So we saw just enough clearing in some areas, like from Sue in Viola. Beautiful shot here. And by the way, all of these photos that you've seen were sent through the free Weather NorCal app. We'll get into that in a second. Check this out, not just here in Northern California. Clear skies in Colorado. I want to thank Matt for sending in this photo. Now, Matt is part of the National Weather Network, which I'm a part of. These are people that have weather channels just like Weather NorCal. And we were just working with each other, sharing photos like this from Doug in Joplin, Missouri. Look how vibrant those colors are, even when you got those lights on very bright on those houses. Still beautiful colors coming in there. And check this out. This is in Florida. All the way down south into Florida, there were reports even in Texas. I want to thank Dan, also from the National Weather Network, and just beautiful, right? Coming in from Florida. Now, if you want to share your photos, you can very easily do that from the free Weather NorCal app. Make sure you download the app for free today from your iPhone and your Android. Just search for Weather NorCal. And by the way, the big tradition that we have here in Redding at the Cascade Theater, Cascade Christmas, November 21st and through the 23rd and the 28th through the 30th. Now, if you don't have your tickets, folks, get them now if you really want to watch, because we want to make sure you can see it, because these tickets, they sell out quickly. And I know I say that, but this is 100% true with this one. This is a very popular show. People love it. It's a great tradition. So be sure to go to cascadetheater.org and get your tickets today. All right, let's take a look at our weather headlines. And you can see here, today is going to be that transition day from cool to, from warmer, that is, to cool and unsettled weather pattern. Tonight into Thursday morning, I think that's when we see the heaviest rainfall and the gusty winds. Gusty winds, snow levels are getting even higher now. I was initially thinking maybe down to as low as 4,500 feet. Now it's more like 6,000 feet or higher. We'll see, but I don't think it'll get much lower than that. And then cool and unsettled. Once this storm system passes tomorrow, we will be pretty much stuck in a cool and unsettled weather pattern. Mixture of sun, some clouds, and a chance for showers from time to time. All right, let's get you your Krueger's Quickcast for your Wednesday, November 12th. Now, the overcast skies are kind of keeping those temperatures on the mild side, not getting too terribly cold, even in the mountains. I mean, look at Modoc County. You're in the low 40s this morning at 8 a.m., low 50s for the valley. So the clouds moved in yesterday. We've got more clouds moving in today. Notice a few showers developing in the Pacific Northwest. And that cold front, as it approaches, we'll see our winds pick up. And look at this swirling area of low pressure behind that, the upper area of low pressure. That is really digging to the south and gaining its strength. It will eventually actually break off from the upper level flow, and the positioning of that low is still a little uncertain as far as rain comes when we're talking about Friday and into Saturday. But we'll talk about that here in our deeper dive forecast. Want to show you the HRRR forecast model, because this will just kind of give you an idea of the timing. We're going to take a look at our in-house model in the deeper dive as well, but just kind of show you, I think most of the showers will be off the coast at midday. If you see a stray sprinkle here and there, don't be surprised. Most of that stray sprinkles and light showers will probably come late afternoon and into the early evening hours. And then as we go into the overnight hours, the main band of rain will approach. But really, it's late tonight, early tomorrow morning, when it really will start to push through. So the winds may hold off in some areas as well, although very gusty towards central Siskiyou County. If you drive a big rig, do note on I-5 in central Siskiyou County could run into some problems there. Very gusty winds. And then you can see here as we go into your Wednesday night, some winds, especially off to the west, but those will pick up in intensity for everyone else by early tomorrow morning. All right, so here's what we have in store for us today. Your temperatures are going to be in the mid to upper 60s for the valley. 60s and even some 50s for some of the higher elevations, and mid 60s for the coast. We take a look at that 7-day outlook, and it's going to look a little busy, folks. You got PM, you got AM, you got chance. Bottom line is this: heaviest rainfall tonight, tomorrow morning. Then we're in a cool and unsettled weather pattern. We are setting ourselves up with a classic cool and unsettled weather pattern. What does that mean? Well, it means a mixture of sun, a mixture of some clouds, and every once in a while, you're going to see some rain in there as well. The timing of that gets a little tricky, but keep on your toes, keep it right here to Weather NorCal. We'll keep you updated with a lot of that timing. And we're going to take a look at that timing in our deeper dive here in just a second. But first, before we get into that deeper dive, a word from our sponsor, Shasta Hearing Aids.
Frank, come help with the dishes.
What?
The dishes!
I heard it the first time. I just got back from Shasta Hearing Aids, but she doesn't know it yet. What?
Forget it!
All right, so we take a look at that satellite image here. There you can see all of the clouds that moved on in here throughout the day yesterday and, of course, last night and into this morning. This cold front right here, as it approaches, our winds are going to pick up. It's going to bring into that potential for rain as well. Another thing to take note, look at this swirl. I mean, this is an area of low pressure that's really gaining strength. It's digging to the south. Now, eventually, what this will do is break off from the upper level flow and then eventually kind of push through Southern California. However, there are some models that want to bring it a little bit more to the north. So this is going to get a little tricky as far as the overall track of this low, but we'll worry about that later. We've got to get through tonight and tomorrow morning as this cold front pushes through to the east. Now, I'm going to start with our long-range model, just kind of show you the progression of things happening. So there's that cold front. That pushes to the east. We see that rain tonight, tomorrow morning. You see the low? You see how it dives to the south? I mean, it just takes a deep dive to the south here. That's Friday. And then that eventually brings rain towards Southern California. But look at Northern California, not much going on. Now, if this is a little bit more to the north, then we can really start to see some of that come in kind of around the backside of that low. And then that low kind of pushes to the east and maybe some showers here by Sunday into Monday. Now, that low kind of opens up, is no longer a closed off low. And then we've got this that could bring us some more showers Sunday night into Monday. But you see this, it also shows signs of kind of pushing to the south as well. But again, this is something I talked about bottom line. And that is once the storm system passes through tonight, we're kind of stuck in a cool and unsettled weather pattern, again, with that mixture of sun, some clouds, and a chance for a few showers. All right, so let's walk you through the timing right here in Northern California. So we actually have a little bit of clearing this morning. Those clouds really kind of kicking back in here. Now, I think this model is being a little aggressive with the potential for showers this afternoon. But if you see a stray shower or a sprinkle late afternoon, early evening, especially for, say, Siskiyou County Valley westward, don't be surprised, although I wouldn't expect to see much, if anything, here through the entire day today for Modoc County and most of the eastern mountains. Now, the main band of rain is still off to our west right here. You see this first little push by tonight, it does kind of hit towards southern Humboldt County. But still, even tonight at 10 o'clock, not a lot of rain out there just yet. Then you can kind of see it really starts to kind of push to the east here. So overnight tonight, early tomorrow morning, now we're seeing that rain. So by 8 a.m. on Thursday, that's when we're seeing the heavier rainfall for the valley. But look at the coast. You're not seeing as much rain here. This is going to be one of those situations where the rain is kind of coming from here and then coming in from the south-southwest and pushing more to the south and east of parts of the north coast. So this is actually one of those storms where we may see more rain in parts of the valley than the coast. Then you can see, as we go into midday Thursday, now the main band of rain here is off to the east here. But I say rain, you're not seeing any snow on the map here. Already, still, even at noon, we're still looking at mainly rain, snow levels mainly above 6,000 feet. But still some showers out towards the valley. To the west of that, not much going on, is there? And then through the afternoon, that continues to push to the east. Now some cooler air moving in. There you can see Lassen Park and parts of the Sierra. We're beginning to see some of that snow, but that's still pretty high elevation. But through the afternoon, we just look at those scattered showers, heavier rainfall off to the east, and not much even for the coast. Now let's take you into Friday, right? So there's Thursday night. See that storm system pushes down to the south. This is also indicating, I think there could be still a chance for a few showers Friday morning, but look at Friday afternoon. Some of that activity, you remember I was talking about that low pressure down to the south near Southern California. If we bump that low pressure a little bit more to the north, now we're seeing more clouds and potential for showers. But for now, it looks like it's going to be fairly dry through the day on Friday. And Saturday, if you got outdoor plans on Saturday, look at this. You're looking like you're in pretty good shape, even some clearing skies. But as I mentioned, by Sunday evening into Monday, maybe a chance for some more rain. Now, these estimates are kind of all over the place, and they have been over the last few days. But I do want to point out it's showing less rain for the coast than the valley. The valley could see more. I do think because of the flow of air coming from more from the southwest, we could see some orographic lifting and the potential for some pretty heavy rainfall at times, especially tonight, tomorrow morning, for areas north of the valley in the mountains. And then to the east here, maybe some more of that orographic lifting over here as well, but less rainfall off to the north and east. Don't take these numbers to be exact, but I do think we could see 1 to possibly close to 2 inches of rain in the valley once all is said and done. And maybe about a half an inch to maybe an inch for parts of the north coast. So again, this is one of those situations where it's kind of flopped, right? Typically the coast sees most of the rainfall, but it's going to be opposite. The valley possibly seeing more. Wetter than normal conditions in the long range. I mean, once that main storm system passes through tomorrow morning, that's the heaviest rainfall as we kind of advance forward here. But winter weather advisory, it did have Laston and Plumas counties, part of that, no longer. It's been allowed to expire because it's beginning to look like more like this is going to be a warmer storm system than initially thought. So 4 to 8 inches possible above 6,000 feet, maybe 1 to 2 feet of snow, say as you go above 9,000 feet. All right, so look at this. If you watched yesterday evening, there was a lot more snow on this map. But now, because snow levels are so much higher and expected to be so much higher, we're probably not going to see much in the way of any travel delays. I mean, look at Cedar Pass, no snow there. Look at Scott Mountain Pass, no snow there. I mean, look at into the eastern mountains where we have some of those higher mountain passes. Not much in the way of snow on the highways there. But if we take you down to the south in the Sierra, different story. 1 to 2 feet of snow over some of the highest elevations, say above 9,000 feet, 1 to 2 feet of snow. So if you are heading over the Sierra on Thursday and into Friday, do note, especially as we go into tonight and Thursday, do note that you may run into some delays and some chain requirements over some of those higher mountain passes in the Sierra. All right, all kinds of wind alerts, right? We've got wind advisories, we got high wind warnings. Rather than going into really the details on those advisories, let's just talk about the winds, okay, and the timing here. So as we take you through the day today, the winds are picking up, especially in central Siskiyou County. If you drive a big rig, note that on I-5 in central Siskiyou County, you may run into some problems here. Otherwise, just a few gusts, especially over the high mountain ridge tops. Little gusty out along the coast here. Thursday morning, 5 a.m., we're still kind of seeing that cold front kind of pushing through, but now it's beginning to pick up in the valley, 20, 30 miles per hour, and there you can see over 30 miles per hour there as well. Then you can see in the early morning hours, we do see kind of a little ramp up of those winds for the valley, pretty strong winds off to the eastern mountains by midday Thursday. By Thursday afternoon, you see how the winds are starting to die down. And then we go through the day on Friday, a little gusty off to the north and west here, but otherwise winds should be calming down for Friday afternoon, and that'll be the case again on Saturday as well. In fact, let's take you through Saturday. There you can see those fairly calm winds as well. This is taking a look at the strongest peak gust through the time frame from now all the way through 5 p.m. Thursday. So it kind of takes the peak gust and it stops there. So there you can see upwards of 40 miles per hour. I'd say 40 to 50 miles per hour, very good possibility along the coast. 40 miles per hour, close to 50, I think, even for parts of the valley. Look at this, over 50 miles per hour out towards Mount Shasta, central Siskiyou County, and probably not as bad off to the east, but still some gusty winds nonetheless. I would say even some gusts there over 40 miles per hour, but you get the idea. Some pretty strong winds are expected. It's not out of the question to see a few power outages. I will say this though, as far as the winds are concerned, probably not as bad as what we saw last week, but still the potential for power outages any way you look at it. Cooler for the most part, cooler than normal conditions are also in that long range. You take a look at the next 10 days. I mean, we see a little spike on Saturday, but really outside of that, we're mainly in the upper 50s to low 60s here for the next 10 days. So this is what I was talking about. Once we get this cool and unsettled weather pattern coming in, it's going to stick around for a while. Now the wave heights are picking up today, and they'll pick up even more for your Thursday. So as a result, the National Weather Service for this afternoon has issued a gale warning. So do take note of that. Those winds will get pretty strong later today from the south at about 20 to 25 knots. All right, so here's your neighborhood forecast, sponsored in part by Dignity Health. We take a look at Trinity County, and there you can see temperatures today, upper 50s, low 60s. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail on these 7-day forecasts because they are a little complicated. I know that, and I do address that. You got PM, you got AM, you got chance. And that's just one of those things where when we get in these cool and unsettled weather patterns, sometimes it's hard to predict exactly. And each day, these chances, these AMs, these PMs, they are going to change as we go through time. So this is, again, one of those situations where you need to keep especially if you work outdoors, if you got outdoor plans, it's one of those situations where you're probably going to want to keep a close eye on the forecast day by day so you have a better idea of what to expect. And that's the beauty of the neighborhood forecast. I update those every morning, Monday through Friday, and we just look at the forecast really for the day. And that gives you an idea of what to expect. So again, especially if you work outdoors, it's really a good resource for you. Meanwhile, of course, you can see for this valley to the south, you can see about 66 degrees for Orland, 66 in Biggs. Your 7-day forecast for Chico. Again, the off and on chance for rain. Now, again, we're going to be looking at those temperatures generally in the low 60s for Thursday, Friday, another little spike on Saturday, and then back down to the upper 50s to low 60s for Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Take it to the north, 64 degrees for Redding, 64 degrees for Bella Vista, Lakehead, a high of about 59 degrees. And as I mentioned, this 7-day forecast is most likely going to change both temperature-wise and chances for rain-wise as well over the next 7 days. So, again, keep a close eye on the forecast if you have outdoor plans over the next 7 to really even 10 days. Daytime highs kind of going up and down again. As I mentioned on Saturday, a bit of that spike, but dropping back down to the upper 50s, low 60s by Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. All right, that's your morning update. I'll be back again tomorrow. I'll be back again at noon for your latest forecast. Until then, have a great morning.
At Wind River Resort and Casino, we like to celebrate life's little moments. Oh, and the big ones too, because around here, when you're completely in the moment, that's when the magic happens. Come in and find your moment at Wind River Resort and Casino.